Stand for a pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I tried. Oh, do we have?
I just put a limit.
I've got it on my computer. We're good. Okay.
You need to talk.
Oh, I finally found my missing emails.
Oh, there you
They're in the spam folder.
go. Yes, great place for that.
Who's keeping that?
Shannon's online.
Oh, hey Shannon, online.
It's in,
And
I
I'm
feel better.
the very clumsy paper and
You're for that.
Yes.
Okay, okay, so, consideration of the agenda, please.
I move to approve the agenda.
Wait, Julia, you're supposed to say something.
About the one thing.
The out-of-district agreements, we
Yes.
need to add those to the consent agenda, please.
Oh, okay, so, okay,
Sorry, I told Lily and then forgot to say it out loud to everyone else.
so we're adding the, out of district, papers that we sign. So if you don't know, what we do is if a kid goes to another school, that school sends us a, notification that that child lives in our district, but they're going to another school. And we just confirm that we realize that. So it's just paperwork, that's all it is. So, okay, we can add that in there. All right. So we have our motion. Do we have our second? On the consent, on the agenda?
Yeah, I'll second that motion.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No, okay, consent agenda, that's the claims for 8/22, 8/26, 9/5, and minutes from 8/12.
I will move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Thank you, Rob. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Any public comment? No public comment. We are just buzzing.
All those people were staying. I was like, oh.
No, they were.
What happened? What did you tell in the background?
Anything for discussion? Okay, committee reports, PTO? All right, they just met.
Yes.
All right, teacher rep?
I'm here. I'm here. You made it through the first week. Are kind of ironing themselves out, I guess, or whatever. Although I have to say I was exhausted. Like Wednesday was better, but Tuesday and then Thursday, Friday, I went to bed. I was in bed by 8:30. I took a nap. Anyway, but other than that, I'm good.
I was Tuesday as like a Monday, start of the week. How was that today?
It wasn't bad last week because it was a holiday, so it's kind of like you knew.
Right.
I think today I made more of that whole, well, you know,
Oh,
Tuesday, and they're like, this is Tuesday. I'm like, okay, you know, so,
yeah.
just, you know, it's no different probably than, oh,
Yeah.
It's a holiday week every week.
yeah.
Okay, clerk's report is,
Shannon, do you want to read it or you want me to just read your report? Okay, this is the clerk report.
Sorry, I couldn't unmute myself, but yeah, go ahead.
Okay, interlocal agreement, our last check to West Valley has been lost in the mail. So I'll be reissuing that check to them and they will be mailing another one back to us from Alex. And then the budget versus actual report is attached. A communication survey. Shannon passed out a survey to all of the staff during back to school PIR days. There are results attached. It's very interesting to see what type of people everyone was. There were a couple that really surprised me, and there's also a copy attached for you all to fill out if you'd like to join the fund. She also did something really cool, which is not in her report, but I have to tell you, she took all the results and told everyone what type of communicator each person was, so that when they were communicating with a different personality type, they knew how to communicate more effectively with that person, which was really cool.
Where, it says here are the results where.
I did not see that attached.
Are they separate, Shannon, the results?
I have them in my office. I will make copies.
Okay.
We have rules and policies updating. Rules is a correct term. So we should form a policy committee to look over them and make wording recommendations to the board at the next meeting. Look for this as an action item on the agenda. The work comp audit is complete. I definitely need to be better about getting certificates of insurance from people that come onto campus to do work for us. Goals. So I have been told by her to make sure if anybody come working that I get their certificate before they touch me. So I'm going to. Oh, here is this is the copy here for your friends, if you want to take the quiz. Here's the copy you can do. Here's yours.
So, thank you.
Welcome to this work. So those are just the copies, and then she took this class, and on the back, it talks about how to communicate with each of those types of people. And it's really helpful just to go, okay, their brain doesn't work the same as mine. This is how their brain works. It's kind of cool.
I have attached the results to the clerk report now. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. We can go back and look at it.
It was quite interesting. There were some that were like, really? I want to put that person there. And then there were some where it was like me and Katie were the same type of person. And we're like, yeah. Yep. Mhm.
So is this something she wants us to fill out on here?
If you would like to do it, you have to, but it's not really. Mhm.
Thanks, Shannon.
Okay. Ms. Julia?
All right, so I've updated our enrollment. We're at 140. So we were up to 142, and then we lost 6, and then we gained 4. So we are back to 140. So our fourth grade class is ginormous at 28. If we get one more student, we'll have to hire someone or find overflow someone to fill that in. But as of right now, we're right on the cusp. So, but other than that, our other big class is 7th grade with 22, but they're actually going down every year. It's interesting. Okay. Our kindergarten is very small. We are up to 7, which I don't think I've ever seen the kindergarten not double in the last month of school, and this one did not.
We're ranked for school service.
Sorry.
Sorry. Okay, so for expanding learning opportunities, Michelle and I are pretty excited, the kindergarten teacher, and have come up with an idea to expand our school into early childhood education. We are excited to, our idea, which will be approved by the board eventually, but this is just like a teaser. We're excited to hopefully open some slots in the kindergarten classroom, potentially the last quarter of the year, so the last 5-6 weeks, opening however many slots we can do depending on class number by that time, and first come first serve to sign up some future kindergartners, so 4-year-olds, to come and spend the 4 or 5 weeks with our kindergartners. By then, our current kindergartners will be well versed in life of a kindergartner, and that's when the majority of the intense instruction is over. So they'll get like the fun taste of what kindergarten is with some buddies to help them. This is how we go through the line. And it'll also help us gather information on any students that might need intervention, and we'll know that months before they come in. So if we have to find something special to help the incoming kids, we can do that. They will not any money to we won't get A and B for them. So we'd have to be very careful how many slots we open. But where it wouldn't cost us anything but time. And Michelle is extremely excited to be able to do that. So if we wanted to get A and B, we'd have to hire a teacher. We have to do testing in June now for both mathematics and literacy to end up getting that money for those students. But this is a small way that we can start heading in that direction. And then every year would just be by year. So if we get 15 kids, maybe we can open, 4 slots or 3 slots, just every year, how many kids do we have? Are we too full? And just try our best to get some kids in that maybe just need a little extra. Right. Effective recruitment and retention. Doing retention, I have implemented a goal systems or trying to implement it. Teachers at back to school days are asked to create 2 to 3 goals. Whoa, I don't know why it says brilliant. It's supposed to say smart, but it could be brilliant. One is a SMART goal. Well,
There's AI to write this.
no, I put it in and I was like, make this sound like ramble. So it's like, make it not ramble. So
We did, okay.
they changed it to brilliant. One is a SMART goal, while the others are 1 to 2 personal goals they got to choose. My goal is to not use this as an evaluation tool, but rather to support the teacher. So if I know Miss Johnson is working, her goal is about IEFA. If I hear about something or see a book or whatever, or there's a training she could go to, I can put all those resources towards her versus kind of spreading them out around the building. And if they see the email at time, they do or they don't. This way, I kind of want to learn how to be not just an admin, but also like learn how to help grow teachers. So this is my first step in that direction. I'm learning. Our caseload in special education is continuing to grow. As our student numbers and need levels increase, we are in need of additional support in the department. This seems to be a pretty big theme. We are up at 25, but 2 of those are full-time in the sped room students. We received or gifted 4 more new students this year with IEPs. And
75 is the caseload rated.
yes.
Does that include speech kids or is that just
That
like?
just
IEP?
just IEP kids. That's
Like
not
other-
any. Yeah, there are a couple kids that are just speech.
Okay.
But these are like actually still in the classroom. It's
140. Sorry, I'm doing a quick ratio, like 18%.
That's pretty high. Yeah. Good news, the walkway, we are preparing to connect the new building over here to this existing sidewalk will not need to be poured after all. We actually can move the ramp and turn it to where it actually perfectly to attach right to the sidewalk. So we don't have to pour anything. So we're working on doing that. A path will still need to be poured to connect the 7th grade exterior door to the main sidewalk. Right now they're walking across grass. Safety and security teachers participated in the alert training for back to school PIR days. That's similar to Run Lock Fight. We learned a lot of really useful information. They will be coming back for the active shooter experience. So this one was the study behind it, how to recognize and find. And then now they're going to come back at some point and do the actual hands-on experience. They also will do a facility safety inspection. So they'll run through with the eyes of a police officer and say, this needs a change, this needs a change, so on and so forth. They did warn me that the fire marshal does not like most of their recommendations, but a child has not passed away from a fire in like 30 years in a school. And so they're like, you need to pick which one you prepare for. So we'll be bringing those options to you when they make recommendations, and we can discuss as a group which direction we want to go. The volleyball season is beginning. Our first game is Thursday against Swan River at 5 here in the gym. This year, home games will start at 5 because we start and end school at 4, and they still need their warm-up time and getting ready time. And then you have just some dates about testing and the upcoming games.
Julia,
Yes,
on their walkthrough, do they do that during a normal school day with children and staff?
I believe so. I believe that's an
I would
option.
I would prefer that so that if they can identify any weaknesses in our procedures and, daily activities, then they could give us recommendations.
My question is, there's Dibble's testing on here. Maps is, great, what grades is that, 3 through 8?
Maps is K8.
Maps is K8.
Yep.
Okay.
Maps is K8 and then MAST is 3-8.
Maps, okay, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Maps is
Some of the acronyms.
school-based one, and then Dibbles is like K2.
She actually tests, so she tests K3 and then anyone who has not passed. So until they get up to grade level, she does it every year of that kid until they get to grade level.
Gotcha.
I do have a question for you. Our, summer list, how did we do with it this year?
To be honest, not as well as I wanted it to go. I think that our maintenance staff didn't have as much time to put towards the projects as we'd hoped they would. I can't remember what week it was, but at some point midway through the summer, there'd only been about 40 hours worked. Which isn't too shabby, but for the amount of lists that we have every summer, that's really hard. So Shannon and I were working on trying to find some other sort of contract, either with the existing people we have or finding someone who can do it, where they work at least the first several weeks through right after summer gets out, to just crack out as many projects as we can, more hours a day, versus kind of the when they can type model. I just think that our 2 maintenance workers, their lives are changing so quickly. Connor has a whole bunch of jobs and Gary has, had puppies and all these crazy things. So I think it's time to maybe nail down a better contract to make sure our grass is being taken care of, and our whole building. So it'd be nice to have one person as a whole that's just maintenance for the whole building for several weeks through the summer, versus an on-call kind of come when you can thing. I know that one of our maintenance workers really struggled because some of them he personally could not do alone. And so when the other person wasn't there, it couldn't be done. And so I think that was one of the big rubs too, is that there's just not physically able to at this point without assistance, or moving something heavy. You need 2 people. So we had those issues.
Didn't we hire on another?
We did, but that was after, that was like because that was in.
We just
Okay,
hired
I
him
just-
last month.
I know we just hired him last month. Yeah, so he has been, I mean, today we called because, moving paper all over the building, everyone was out and he was here within 2 hours moving paper around for everybody, so.
What about the other gentleman that was doing work for us?
So he came in and he put in the cabinets in the 2 new buildings. He also did the flooring in the cafeteria. Gary and I pulled the carpet out and scraped it, and then he came in and really got all got the glue, like thick carpet glue, and then finished it. Other than that, very eager, but not necessarily super responsive as far as like, hey, there's a project. However, I will give him grace that he's a construction guy in the summer. And that's where they're kind of bacon is in the summer. So he has ensured that throughout the school year now, since summer is winding down, that he'll have a lot more time to come and do other things. But there were not very many hours made up during the summer from this individual.
Was there a way to keep track of that? Did you keep track of it?
So
or-
he was to turn hours to Shannon,
Okay,
and last time I checked, that still has occurred. From the cabinets, I know they had 2 guys in there. It took 1 day and it was awesome. I mean, they did a good job. But they do good work when they're here. It's just,
it's just getting them here to do
Yeah.
work.
and I do understand, summer is really hard for contractors because that's where their bulk of their money comes from. So I
Yeah.
understand.
And then I just noticed you have variance to standards for library in here, so I just opened the link to peek at it. Looks like this is only for the 7-8 school. Do you need to also do one for elementary, or is this?
It says Marion School and then Marion 7-8.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see the comma.
That's okay.
Thank you. Yay, awesome. I know a lot of times you could do like multiple
Yes.
questions, and it still has Elsie on there. You think they would, update their paperwork? Okay, cool. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, I guess, huh? I didn't see that one. Okay, well, thank you, and we're moving on to our action items. So the first item
Do
is.
you want,
I just mentioned.
do you want the assistant principal report?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry, that's the next item. I thought it was part of your report. The variance parts.
Okay. I'm also the vice principal today. I'm doing all sorts of things. Okay. CPR first aid training. Training was highly successful with excellent staff participation. Staff reported increased confidence in applying CPR and first aid skills. So, the days, Ms. Sharati, the couple days before the in-service, the first 2 days back, she made this whole optional PIR schedule for the teachers, which the teachers loved. And CPR first aid training was one of those. And then lovely Miss Sherry stepped in to do some professional development. It was really well received. The staff feedback highlighted Sherry's engaging and practical approach. Strategies shared will be valuable tools for classroom use. They also did edge of protocol training, which is basically how to do certain protocols in class. Like, we're going to walk through this learning this way and use these tools to learn. It's hard to explain unless you read the book, but it's really great. For
So
kids,
it's like
it's,
classroom management.
yeah, like classroom
strategies?
management
guy.
strategies. Huh?
Is that the guy?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't.
You didn't come?
No.
I
Oh, I was gonna say.
Like, why does that not sound familiar?
They did.
He actually can't.
That was on the, that was
Oh,
on the schedule, but he
Yeah.
canceled like last minute.
well,
The last minute.
Becky wrote it.
So instead they did some, didn't you guys do
We
some
did
curriculum?
So I have taken the Edge protocol and it was awesome. So hopefully get it back. Because I didn't know that, but it's here, laying back to
Yeah, it's like,
the title grant audit. So we're currently working together to go through. We are being audited on all of our titles, which is, you can ask Sherry, it's a binder like this thick. It's a lot, but Sherry offered to help keep my brain going in the right direction. And we've got a lot of schools. We have 3 schools right now that are going through it. So Smith Valley, Ole Bissell, and there's another one. Caius, I think we're all going through it at the same time. And so we're gonna get together and just
good idea.
work on it together someday. It's basically, how have you spent Title I money? How are you helping foster kids? How are you helping homeless? How are you doing teacher training and retention and evaluation? Like it's,
Title II, Title III,
yeah,
Title.
it's like 30 pages of 16 pieces of evidence each. It's,
It's repetitive and redundant.
yes. It'll be a lot, but that's due in December.
Yeah.
Teaching assignments, teaching multiple classes this year. So she is teaching multiple classes this year in addition to administrative duties. She continued classroom involvement, provides insight into student learning and supports instructional leadership. Her summary says the start of the year has been productive. There's strong staff participation and professional development, forward momentum in both instructional and administrative areas. Her next step is to support teachers as they begin to integrate EDGE protocols, continue working with Julie to complete title grant, explore additional professional development opportunities based on staff feedback, and maintain balance between administrative responsibilities and classroom teaching.
So if the EDGE protocols isn't able to be rescheduled, do they have a book that they
Yes.
use at least and things to get ideas? Okay.
Yeah.
If they want to implement those, yeah.
Edge of protocol.
Yep. What'd you say, Rob?
Edgeofprotocols.com. I was just checking out their website.
Oh, there you go.
Way to hack the system there.
Right? Okay, now we can move on to our action items. Okay, the variance is to standard application.
Yes. So this application is because we do not have a certified librarian. So there are, you get your teaching license and then you can get additional licenses. A lot of them you just have as a KA teacher, like I can teach music, I can teach gym, I can do all those things. Library is not one of them. You have to have a separate, you have to take a separate test. And we don't have one of those right now. We don't have anyone that's able to have the time to use their license. So right now, Miss Lisa is giving library classes with reading books and checking out books and learning this with them. But we don't have anyone that's certified with our library. So we have to turn in this to tell the state, we don't have anyone certified, but we do have a plan to get someone. Ms. Shin has shown interest in learning because she loves library and becoming certified this spring. So it'll be mentioned in the plan that she's going to be trying to take a class and study and then hopefully take a test this spring to get, so next year. So this is actually good for 2 years. So if it doesn't happen and she needs more time, we are good to go on accreditation for 2 years if this is passed.
Is that already been sent in, or is this something you're just working on?
I can't send it in until it's signed by the board because I have to put in the minutes.
Gotcha. Okay.
So,
Which is why it's under action.
yes.
I'm finally getting it.
Okay, is there any more discussion on it?
Reprint.
I'll make that motion that we accept that application.
I'll second.
Do we have any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? No, okay, great. Consideration of, oh, I'm sorry, Rob,
What was that for? Sorry, was that to prove the,
the library.
Library,
Variance.
variance to standard to give us 2 years to find a certified librarian.
okay, sorry about that. Thank you.
That's okay. Okay, consideration of opening another special ed position.
All right, so due to our increased volume, we're at the point now where we add one more kid and so each SPED student has a certain amount of minutes assigned to them per subject area of need. And if you do not meet those minutes, then you are breaking the law. And right now, we're right on the precipice of not being able to meet all the kids' minutes. We can as is, but we get one more child or a kid that needs to be served, and we have several that need to be tested, that have been on the docket to be tested for special education. If we get any more minutes, there's no way physically possible. They don't even really get a break in the day right now. I personally looked over their schedule and there's no extra time at all to squeeze anything in. So what I'm asking of the board is to kind of approve a twofold approach. One, I would like to list for a special education teacher, because if we could have a K4 SPED teacher and then a 5-8, that would really help one person not have to do all the IEPs and actually get in and teach the kids more. Because right now they're so inundated with paperwork that they can't even get to see the kids as much as they want to. And it would allow our really, really high needs kids to have two professionals that are trained so that one person isn't balancing all the high needs kids. Because the parents do amazing work, but there are some kids that are they need someone that's been in that to help them. And then I would like to list that position, and if we don't get a hit within a month, I have a couple people that said they would apply. If we don't get a hit within a month, then opening a para so we can get extra help because we need it anyway. I don't know if that's possible, but the SPED department is begging for extra people. We don't need two at the same time, but I do have at least one applicant who wants to potentially move over to Marion.
So,
For a sped teacher or
for a SPED
para?
teacher.
have we looked at budget considerations on this?
I asked Shannon and she said we can swing it because we we kept that money aside for if we had to rehire a 5, 6 or another 4.
Okay.
So as of right now, we are.
And you're thinking full time?
Yes. Which we do need, right now we have, a student that is, half days. That, could potentially eventually move into a more full day situation, and that's. We're working really hard. Just someone with more experience and that is trained in that can help with those situations.
How many, paras do we have in there?
We have 3,
3 as well. How many kids?
25.
The one that wants to apply for, is it, they want full-time now or part-time?
Full-time.
I think my kids and 2 of them need full time.
Full-time.
Full-time care.
So they are actually in the sped classroom full-time?
One is in full-time, so legally they have to be exposed to their classroom environment.
Right.
But when they go into their classroom environment, they have to have a one-on-one. So one of the parents has to be dedicated to them in that classroom space. So they are full-time sped caseload where they have to be with someone 24, well, not 24/7, but yeah, all school days. So if you were to just take 2 of those, right now the paras divide, Julia into, this para has Julia for this long, and this para has Julia for this long to kind of help with the mental load. But essentially it is full-time that they are served by the sped staff while also taking care of the other 23 students that have minutes.
Which really leaves one of those positions, a special ed teacher to balance the behaviors.
Yeah, so basically 2 of them, yeah, if you do the math,
Wrap
it's
up
moved around, but
2 adults.
2 adults are gone out of that. So 2 people are balancing 22 students. And it's all one-to-one or push-in. And so right now the sped has changed a little bit with some kids that, are low, but they can be served within the classroom environment. They are going into the classroom and helping and serving as more of like an aid in the classroom. Like, let's say Julia's in math class. They are helping that student and serving their minutes, but walking around, helping other students and being there. It's basically least restrictive to where they're
Regular
there.
setting, but
Yep.
special ed support.
Yeah, so with special ed support, the middle school kids seem to enjoy it because they're not being pulled from their peers. The ones who can handle it, they're not being pulled from their peers. They're being served right next to their peers and they get the help they need, but it's not pointing out because that person helps everybody. So that kids don't necessarily know who that parent's there for.
That's good. Sneaky.
Yeah. And it's new, so there's some kinks to work out, but so far it seems to be. But they need more help. They're struggling.
Well, I'll move to go forward with the 2-pronged hiring approach for special education. Teacher, first priority. If that doesn't pan out, then hire. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, first reading of policy 8100.
So while I was doing my Title I audit fund stuff, they wanted proof that the policy 8100 had been adopted by our school board, and it has not. So this is for transportation for students who, the part for title that they're talking about is students in foster care. So we already have a policy that states that we will try to the best of our effort to, if a student comes to our building that's in foster care, if they actually go to Kyla, we'll do our best to try to allow that kid or help that kid stay in Kyla. It's in order basically to just help maintain normalcy as much as possible for those children. It's a Title I thing. It has never happened here, but this is just talking about that if it's appropriate, the school will help transport within reason, to Kyla to maintain their place, their school that they've been in prior to being put in foster care. So I'll go ahead and read all the fun.
So like if they live in Columbia Falls and they're in foster care here, we have to get them back and forth to Columbia.
We don't have to, we just have the option to. So if we're like, we can't,
It allows us to say we will if we choose to do that.
mhm,
Kind of thing.
yeah,
So we're not required
no,
to do that.
no, it's just saying if we
Yeah.
can, you know, like little tiny school over there or Kylo or Smith Valley, that's like reasonable. It has to be reasonable.
Services and transportation. To children, foster care, school of origin.
It also covers homeless students. So they'll be transported in accordance with the McKinney-Vento it's McKinney Homeless Assistance Act and state law. So it basically means you work with those kids to be able to get them to school within their district. So if they have to move every week, you figure out a way, and they're in your district, so you figure out a way to help them get to school.
Do we have any kids at this time that would, no, this would,
In the last 6 years, I've heard of one, because I asked a bunch of teachers and they said there was one 5 or 6 years ago and they're only here for a couple weeks. It was a temporary placement.
So it sounds to me like just kind of quick reading, tell me if I've misread anything, but basically it's kind of like getting a point of contact to work with the Department of Health and Human Services to come up with a plan for transportation if it's needed. And then it kind of says like, the district will provide transportation to such school if, and there's like 3 different qualifiers. So the department, like the Department of Health and Human Services might be able to reimburse the district for the cost. That would be the first one. And then, or we agree to pay for it, or we share the cost. So there's like 3 options that could potentially happen, right? It says will provide, doesn't say may. So I just, yeah.
Yeah, and I
And
mean,
Julie,
go ahead.
you said this is to comply with the title audit?
Yes.
So
Then I move to approve the shoot, I lost my place.
first read
first reading,
First reading of policy 8100.
8100.
Want to be lieutenant or administrator, Julia, on line 38?
I would do building administrator.
What are we, that's a question generally for our policy stuff. What do we put you as?
Didn't we just do administrator? I remember we already had this, we already talked about this.
Yeah, I just want to stay consistent, I guess, is my
Usually the
point. Whatever.
Superintendent or principal. So I can't remember. I'll look at some other policy.
Remember, that's a good question.
I would say consistent with what we're,
Yeah,
I think it's administrator. In the past. Yes.
and I think we changed that because that way we wouldn't have to be going back and forth between principal and superintendent. Administrator made it easier.
it also says in the back, best interest is not defined in the Every Student Succeeds Act, but it takes into account all relevant factors, including consideration of the appropriateness of the current educational setting and the proximity to the school in which the student is enrolled at the time of foster care placement. So if they were in Columbia Falls, that proximity would say that's not reasonable.
Right. But if they were like in our area here,
Yeah.
general area.
Yeah, it would allow us to either take them to the school, they're in our district, but we'll take them to whatever, or vice versa. It's kind of a coming together and making a plan with
Yeah.
DPH.
So it looks like, I'm just pulling up a couple random
Please.
policies. They both said administrator. So
Okay.
like even the one that's, the title of the policy is board/superintendent relationship. We changed it to board administrator relationship. So
Okay.
we have 138 policies that say administrator and 51 that say superintendent.
oh, well, I didn't look at them all. I just pulled up a couple of them. But yeah. Maybe we
So
could
I
do
would say
a
administrator
finding
outweighs-
as we
Yeah.
go through.
No,
that.
don't let Julia find
Hey,
and replace again.
I'm gonna do capital letter S on all of them.
What happened? Did I miss a story?
Yeah, do you remember when we were trying to redo a handbook and sometimes school was capitalized and other times it wasn't, and I control S and tried to change all of it, but then it changed school that wasn't a title into a capital two. And it was rough. Rob was not happy with me.
Yeah, I swore.
Okay.
I'll let Shannon do it.
So we have our motion. Did we got a second, right? Every second?
So I second.
Yes, okay. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye, excuse me.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Consideration of forming a policy committee.
So we have a lot of policies, like Shannon said in her clerk report, that have come up. Oodles, so much, there's no number, it's oodles. It's a lot of policy, some come from, the legislative session, there's a couple other things. And, it's just too much really to go through in a board meeting. So, she wanted to form a policy committee to take that off the plate of the board.
And that would include, teacher.
Yes, she has talked to the MEO, or someone from the MEO, I'm not sure which one, about who is on the policy committee for MEO, and I don't know what the answer was, but they said they would find somebody.
But what is it typically, one board member, one?
It's a couple board members, and then the teacher rep that does the policy, and then the teacher reads the policy with the board and brings it back to the MEO, and the MEO has a chance to comment, and then it goes back to the committee, and then they can finalize it and bring it to the board. It's kind of like contract negotiations.
You don't think it has to go to the representative, just let the teachers know.
Yeah.
It's something that they need to implement. And when you does that.
Yeah.
Didn't we have a policy committee before?
Annie was on it.
It was the
Sorry, she was.
head honcho.
Or was it me?
At one point. Rob, are you on policy committee? Or?
Hey, Rob.
Yeah,
No, he has a finger on his nose. He said, no, thank you.
I already did that.
normally this would have me written all over it, but at the current time, I would advise somebody else to do it.
Rock, paper, scissors.
That job on, Christian.
I do not have
So
that.
we need 2 board members, right? All right. I'll volunteer for
Okay.
one.
What time commitment are we talking about?
Yeah, and not if they're willing to read everything before the meeting. So that you knew what the policies were and you could just talk about them.
I don't know that I'd be best for that since I was late for the meeting.
So what my,
First time ever.
can you hear me?
Yes.
You guys are not reading my messages, so I have to speak. My plan was to just email all the policies out to whoever's on the committee. You guys go through it individually, whatever, and then meet to collaborate. Becky is on the committee, on the teacher side. And so I don't know how much time it would take. There's like 25-ish policies.
You can do them in chunks, right? You don't have to do them all in 1 month, do you?
No, you don't have to.
We're not good at that thing, just like, you really are, but like.
Well, if you have policies that are only 1 or 2 pages, it's not too bad, but.
I could certainly be a backup.
I was gonna say, I'd be willing to try if I could have backups,
Just be a backup.
just because like the legal evil part, he's really good at, and you're like,
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Whoever's on it, use me. You can farm a couple out to me if you want.
okay.
Can't commit to being there in person.
You can also upload them into ChatGPT for free and ask for a summary too. Like, if you don't understand what it's about and then go back and read it for detail, that always helps a lot when you're tired. And what is it
Yeah,
about?
try getting it to make you a red cow without horns. Sorry, I fight with ChatGPT.
Why are you trying to make interesting else?
Or are you talking about an actual cow, like trying to breed one like that?
No, it's
Okay.
their image creation tool is very flawed when it comes to farm animals.
Hey, it's better at some things than others. People don't search that as much.
I think we can try it.
Jerry, that's
Oh, my word. Okay, so we have Cammy. Do you have to vote on that then?
It's just an action.
Or nominate
have to-
people or under action?
Hold on.
Yeah, it's an action item, so yeah, we need to have people volunteer and agree to it and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, all that other good stuff. All right. So we got me and we have a backup person, right? Cammy's the backup. We'll see how that works. Rob, we can farm some off to Rob. So we'll
Or make
get
it
her
your
done.
backup to your backup.
Yeah, we'll get her done.
So to approve the policy committee.
I'll second it. All those in favor?
all right.
Aye. Anyone opposed? You're already on the committee. Okay, define what constitutes a school-sponsored event.
Right, so this was brought forward because we have a policy that states if a student leaves early for a school-sponsored event, it will not be counted against their attendance. So like if they're leaving early to go to a basketball game, like Marion basketball game that they're playing in, they don't get dinged for leaving early from game. This normally has been kind of what is considered a school-sponsored event, I guess has been kind of just depending on what the administrator sees is that school-sponsored event. And so Shannon and Teresa were like, we should just standardize it so it's the same forevermore, regardless of who's in my seat or not. So there's two schools of thought on this. My kind of viewpoint is it can be a slippery slope if you allow things in that are not technically school sponsored. So in my opinion, school sponsored is student council, basketball, volleyball, and then West Valley football, because they're our other boys sport for our Title IX. If they're leaving for games, it's not for practices, it's for games. Because their practices are late enough after the school day, they should not have to leave earlier, but sometimes they have to leave early for games, like 2 when they're driving someplace.
Right.
That's historically been the description anywhere I went. If it's school sponsored, it's paid for by the school, with the exception of West Valley, because we have to include that. But there is the argument, like one child does, it's not Sudoku. That is not the word they're fighting.
Taekwondo?
Something, but thank you. That one, jujitsu, and some do FFA or 4-H and showing, and they leave early and that takes a lot of effort. It's something that's great they're involved in, but it's been kind of back and forth depending on who's the administrator. Some kids get let out because they're going to go do Taekwondo and don't count it as an absence. Like if they're going to a practice and they're going to an event, if they're gone for those days, that's an activity. We want to support them. My personal opinion is that's a slippery slope, because pretty soon you could say that, going to get my hair cut is a health event. That's a bit of a reach, but I'm kind of open the door for just like a bunch of things. So I'm not sure, like my girls play softball and then boys play baseball and all these things in Kalispell, but those aren't school sponsored. So do we say that's okay if they leave school? Or I'm
with you as far as like when I was the administrator, I went with just school related, like school supported, actual school sponsored things counted as school sponsored absences. But other things were in that category. It wasn't just sports. There were a few other things.
Yeah.
We don't have a band teacher currently, but they used to go to music festivals or like choir, whatever, Valley Voices, whatever. They go to things like that, certain field trips that would go, obviously field trips are school sponsored if they're approved by the school. I'm trying to think of other things. There might be like an art festival, the math competition, like those kinds of things. But if it's like a community sport, I think they're great, but, parents should know they have X number of days to work with for those kinds of things, like their kid is not expected to have 100% attendance. So, but pick and choose those things so that they're not constantly in things that are gonna take them out of school, right? Just prioritize. And most of those are weekends, you know, soccer and things like that, or the
Fair,
practices are.
But we'll,
later
you know, we'll have
in the day.
kids, sorry.
No,
We have kids pulled out for gymnastics because it starts at 4, or these different activities. And, you know, while I fully support students being involved in those things and I want to celebrate them, I'm just concerned, playing devil's advocate, what
Yeah.
it could, if you open school sponsored up to just any activity, even if it's mathletes in California, you know, whatever, something that's beautiful for kids to be part of. What child do you say no to? You know, I'm gonna go hunting with my dad. Well, that's a very valuable thing to do also, and
Right.
it could be considered the same as baseball.
Right.
So that's. but
Julia.
we get that.
so they need to have gymnastics class on a Monday.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
what, Rob?
I'm not even
That's-
kidding.
My thought it would be something that the school is paying for, they are representing the school, or they're receiving school credit for. And be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basic,
Related to our school
Yeah, it's
specifically.
related to the
And
school.
like the West Valley football program maybe is the one exception that's kind of consistently not at our school, but we sponsor
Yeah.
it because we need to have another voice to be even. Yeah. So
Julia,
I like that criteria.
Yeah,
so have you looked over policy 3510?
I'm not. Again, though.
See, this is
So-
why you have a policy for
Oh,
Yeah, I
no.
knew that was coming. I guess that's review too, just to make sure we're staying within the bounds of what our, and then it does say that, well, I think we should reference that. I'm not going to read it all. It's a couple pages, but
So it says, this policy should be made available to interested individuals on the website. Parents and families shall be provided information about the nature and purpose of student clubs and groups meeting at the school and methods to consent to participation or opt-out. Anyway. Okay, student organizations. All curricular student clubs or organizations must be approved by the administration. Secret or clandestine organizations will not be permitted. There needs to be bylaws. There's procedures in curricular student clubs or organizations that they must follow. Student-led and initiated non-curricular student groups may meet at the school in accordance with district policy without the sponsorship of the school district. Social events, it says must have prior approval of administration. Then it has rules about that. Extracurricular activities, academic and behavioral eligibility rules are established by MHSA rules and district policy. Any student, no student convicted of a criminal offense may participate. Open to all sports to students enrolled in the district with equal opportunity for participation. Open to all sports to residents of the school district who is at least 5 years old. Recommend sports activities based on interest inventories. Okay. And then that's for homeless, or not homeless, homeschool. And then this one's about boys and girls and co-ed and mixed. So even that one doesn't have a definition of what we say school sponsored is.
Is there anything in our handbook? Any answer to that?
I have a question. Is it coming up now because of the later school day? Is that what's happening?
No, it's been an ongoing kind of
Concern
issue.
with parents saying, oh, he shouldn't be marked absent
Yes.
because we have baseball.
Yeah, or well, the biggest thing is West Valley football, or even sometimes Flathead Valley football. You know, I'm gonna make up a time. They'll come and they'll leave at 2:30, but practice doesn't start until at least 4. So I called West Valley and I said, hey, we don't get out until 4. You're a school, we count you as our other sport. And they're like, oh, they can show up a half hour late. That's totally okay. But we'll still have, there's reasons to what's happening right now, but in the past, we had students being pulled out at 2:30, 1:30, 3, and not for games, but for practice. Games, it makes sense, but for practices, they were being pulled out.
And were they having a problem with their child being marked?
Yes, because, for example, they've had to move, specials to the end of the day. They tried to put study hall at the end of the day because you'd have kids missing during football season every single day or 3 days a week or however many plus a game, completely missing the last period of the day. And so they would never show up, but then they fail that class because we never got any instruction for it. Even if they were doing the work, they didn't get instruction for it. And so there's my kids participating in a sport, so they shouldn't.
I mean, I understand. Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So looking at the policy, or the, excuse me, not policy, student handbook, it just basically says appointments, travel, and extracurricular activities should be scheduled after school hours. So those are extracurricular, right, activities. And then trying to think of where else. If it doesn't talk about school sponsored, so I'm looking for. See anything in here? Oh, student absent for 10 days. There used to be a little blurb about.
I think school sponsors needs to be way more restrictive than extracurricular. Like anybody can do extracurricular,
Right.
but yeah, if we're going to sponsor it, it needs.
What if the basket weaving class is on Tuesdays at 11 o'clock? That doesn't mean you get the whole day off.
Yeah. Right, yeah. Some people argue that practice is like for West Valley football, that's our other boys sport, so I should be able to leave early for practice, regardless if the coach says you can be here at 4:30 without affecting your playtime. I don't think that that's kosher as far as your kids missing an entire period when they don't have to. Even the middle school teachers have been like 5 minutes, 10 minutes early so that you don't get caught up in pickup time. That's okay. But they'd be missing 45 minutes to an entire period every day throughout football season. To where, they'd have to end up giving that kid a study hall because they're gonna fail. But then kids are getting out and missing a whole minutes that they need for their middle school.
It can be on time on Mondays.
Yeah.
It can be early.
So it's hard because I want kids to be involved in as many things as they want to be involved. But it's really hard when Johnny is missing every day to tell, Clara that just wants to stay home and show up to school an hour late, that's not okay, but he can leave early. Like it's kind of a double standard. So that's my personal
I kind of liked Christian's criteria that you want to restate that if you can.
That the school is paying for it, they are representing the school for receiving school credit for whatever.
For academic.
Is there. Yeah.
Because obviously if we're repping the school at the state science fair or the spelling bee or something, we've obviously, because that started here.
We're going to the county spelling bee, you're repping our school in an academic area.
I have boys that have played sports, and I feel like if practice starts at 4 o'clock and they want to be there at 4 o'clock because they don't want to miss half of it, that's a choice, right? Like you can choose to do that, but it's going to affect your grade in this class. So my opinion, I would either have my kid be there at 4:30 or that's maybe not a sport for us this year. And that sucks because my kids are big in sports. Like I think sports is very important. I'm not going to diminish that at all. But I think, again, we are now only a 4-day school. So I think it's important that they're there the whole day for the 4 days that we're here.
And we have told some parents that want to continue pulling their child out. That's completely okay. Just know it's going to count.
Right,
towards
like
attendance.
it's a choice, totally
And
fine.
if the student doesn't complete the work that is given to them, they do miss instruction, they're responsible for whatever grade they get. That's completely fine.
So
Just
how does it work if they leave for volleyball or basketball and they miss work? Do they get extra time to make it up?
the teachers are always they know they're leaving for like a game they're always really good at either not scheduling an assignment or making sure that they know what it is so they can have time. to
So
work
they're
on it.
just wanting that concession, basically.
Yeah, they don't. They don't want it to be due when it's due. Or not to be due at all.
WWJD, what would Julia do? I asked AI the definitions in the comments.
Me too.
I can read it if you want. School sponsor describes an event or activity officially authorized, endorsed, or supervised by a school or school district, which is often managed by school employees or recognized school groups. So definitely emphasis on the school.
Yeah.
This author is recognized and possibly supported with school resources, or it may occur under the school's umbrella, even if offsite.
Can you email that to me?
It's in the chat.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Or just chat GPT it.
Okay.
But
I'm
but
glad if
it's to Christian's point too. Like
Yeah.
Right. Sure. It's just stated in a more like
Yeah,
format.
yeah. Well, and we just wanted, clarification so that if a parent has a question, it's, because
This is what the board has decided is sponsored. And it's not like, it just depends.
oh, Julie hates football.
No, and
Yeah.
we're not telling them that their kid can't play
Yeah.
football, but again, if you want to do basketball even on Tuesday at 11, that's going to cause a problem with your kid's studies.
Yeah.
Everywhere that we looked, it was just really vague. And Teresa's like, we probably need just to get this more solidified because there are so many extracurricular activities out there.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I really
Well,
like shoring up things for
the
who.
scary thing about this definition is there's an or in there. So authorized, endorsed, or supervised. And the authorized, I think, is what could get us, but people could come to us and say, will you authorize basket weaving? So that's where we need to probably
Yeah.
clean that up.
No.
I could also, if you would like, instead of making this an action item, I could type up a definition. Like what he said, and present it to you for you to vote on next time, so you know what you all agree on the definition.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
That would probably be better because then we would have it in concrete.
Yeah.
We have it in
Know it,
concrete, so
Yeah.
it's there. And we know exactly what it's saying.
And Julia, is that something that you'd put in the the student handbook anyway, that we're going to work on next month?
Yes.
So that kind of works better.
We're just gonna table that.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
we'll just table that till next month. Okay, future agenda items, student handbook.
So I'm going to alter the student handbook a little bit to make it a parent student handbook. Because looking through our title audit, there's a lot of papers and definitions and information and letters that need to be in a handbook for parents. And since 95% of what's in the student handbook is really what parents reference, not necessarily children, I figured just having a parent/student handbook that has those title paper section in there also. And you have to prove that they're in there with your title audit. So that way it's available for both students and teachers to know what title on school-wide is, or what McKinney-Vento is, foster, there's literally a packet. But just kind of making that tool fit our title audit in a better way, instead of recreating another handbook for parents to keep track of. I just wouldn't want something it's like accidentally put in a student handbook that's not in a parent handbook, and then it's,
Right.
so this way it's just one
One.
thing all together. So I will be trying to figure out what to put in there and how to organize it and bring it to you.
You will not. You'll use AI.
You know what? It's amazing.
Except when it calls your smart goals brilliant.
I know, but it's hard. Brilliant.
It's not an acronym anymore.
No, I just love it because I can go, here is this sentence fragment, because my brain is not working. How do I say this in a way that makes sense? And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's right.
Okay, was there anything else for future agenda items? Okay, any information? Okay, Rob.
I move to adjourn.
I'll second that.
No.
Julia, sorry for teasing
Got
you.
it. All those in favor?
I
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Very good. Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight.
thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Sorry, we moved late.